This is what everybody's talking about.
Right. What happened is, if people don't watch her show, and most of the people that email me at home don't watch her show, so we love new viewers, don't understand that we always disagree. It doesn't get personal. Yeah, usually it's not personal, but about issues, usually. But, you know, we're into our arguments, and in this case, the white, typical white person comment and phrase was a point of great debate on our set.
Uttered by Barack Obama during his speech on race, in case we really want to bring people up to speed on the issue.
Right, during that phone call to the Philadelphia radio station.
Right, and so we were debating whether or not people should be offended, or are you offended, when a generalization is made about a group of people like white people.
Sure. And so look, it was a legitimate news story, still is, and we were talking about it, and we had the fair and balanced debate. Some of us agreed with it, some of us did not. Anyway, when Chris Wallace showed up at 8:35 in the morning on Friday, and keep in mind, he's been wanting to get Barack Obama on his show for a very long time. He said, hey, guys, I love you, but I really take offense to the fact that you have spent 2 hours bashing Barack Obama. Now, here's the first thing. First of all, Chris did admit that he did 22 different affiliate hits during that 2 hours. He's a great host, but a lousy timekeeper, because as we reviewed the show, we actually talked about it a couple of minutes at the beginning of the 7 o'clock, a couple of minutes at the top of the 8 o'clock, and then our pundits talked about it as well. So it was not 2 hours of Barack Obama.
And we disagreed about it.
Bashing.
We weren't all three. Wouldn't the show be really disinteresting, if that's a word, if we all agreed on the same topic all the time? We didn't agree about it. We all had differing opinions. In fact, you and I may have had the same line of thought, but we disagreed even about why we agreed on it.
Exactly right. So anyway, we were disagreeing with Chris Wallace, and one of the things he had said was that we didn't run the entire soundbite, when in fact Brian did read the entire transcript.
Because we can't just run 2-minute sound bites. So prior to Chris Wallace coming on, something really controversial, which we left the show not knowing this was a controversial moment, happened. I want you to relive what happened Friday, and for those who watch your show will understand this. After the Chris Wallace thing, we had this little debate given back, and Steve, sensing the tension was high, gave me a line to diffuse the situation.
Exactly. So here it is. Watch this.
He's saying it's a bigger picture. Reverend Wright is not isolated.
Don't make generalizations about race when we're trying to talk about it deep down. Let's just put it all out there then. Don't make a generalization, a gross generalization about a whole group of society.
But he meant to say, and was clarified by his campaign, to say it's more generational than it is about racial.
Well, that may be more true.
Right.
But that's not what he said.
But when you're in an unscripted interview with sports guys, sometimes you're not measuring every word as opposed to the teleprompter.
If I said you're a typical sports guy, would you take offense at that? Look at that. I proved my point. There you go. Email us right now, friends@foxnews.com.
Whoa! He took double offense.
He's got to lay off the sink. All right, email us right now, friends@foxnews.com. And there he goes.
Just don't call me a typical woman, because then you're going to be the only person sitting here.
Woo! Look at that.
As you can see, we were laughing.
So I got email to my house. I just printed out the first 100 for people, because Keith Olbermann and other people watched this and thought that we had a battle, a meltdown, that I've walked off the set, I've resigned, again, handed my pass, I handed my Fox playbook, and it's over.
And, in fact, the Huffington Post had run something about how there was mayhem on the set, and that, listen, they got it all wrong.
Look at
any speed.
Had Brian
You're laughing.
Had Brian actually stormed off the set in anger, would he have come back the next segment? No.
To get yelled at by Chris Wallace.
And he did. And in fact, I hate to take a page out of Brian's playbook, but Brian walks off the set about once a week.
I was going to say, have you ever tallied how many times you have walked off the set? In fact, I remember that I walked off the set one time when I didn't want to hear that story about the guy cutting his arm off, remember? I think you walked off the set at some point.
You rarely walk off. I walk off all the time.
I walked off in my early days.
Like, I had people call me up consoling me, thinking that how am I ever going to walk myself back on? I go, I came on the next segment.
You loved it. Come on, let's just tell the truth here. You love the fact that you got all this attention.
We have all these potential new viewers. Stay with us. The argument was real. The walk-off was fun. We are a fun show.
But at its core, it comes down to this. The show is always fair and balanced. We try to present both sides. That is what it's all about. And that was the perfect example to show you just that.